Should the Spurs just give Mitch Johnson the head coaching title? And is the Rookie of the Year award, well, is it pretty much Castle's at this point?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. And TGIF, everybody. The end is here. Yes, the work week is over. You got the weekend ahead. Should be a short work week next week, right? You got the Christmas holidays. And by the way, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Hope y'all have a good one in the coming few days. As always, subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. And also check out the Locked On Spurs fan newsletter. Yes, it's in the description below on the YouTube side of things. Click on that description. Click on that link. Sign up today. Completely free. Again, the Locked On Spurs newsletter is available right now. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You want to go check out FanDuel right now? You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can get themselves, first of all, you want to place a $5 bet. And then you get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just go to FanDuel.com right now to get started. But yeah, can you believe it? Excuse me while I get everybody my microphone set up here. Mitch Johnson doing a pretty good job, isn't he? Yeah, he's guiding this team. They're winning. He's keeping level-headed as best he can. He's holding down the fort while Popovich is out. But the Spurs/Popovich did release a news statement, a press release about Popovich's state of his health. And it sounds like Pop might come back this season. Now, there was no timetable given on that press release. There was not a certain date when this is going to happen. It just said, well, Pop in the newsletter just said, I look forward to coming back to the bench. Okay. But in this point of the Spurs transition, the rebuild, should they just give Mitch Johnson the head coaching job? Should they just announce it? Sure, maybe Pop comes back and he coaches, but should they just tell everybody now, look, whenever the day officially comes that Popovich is officially retired, this is the guy, Mitch Johnson. Should they go ahead and do that? Let's discuss that. He is back, everybody. It's been a while since we had him on. Look who it is. It's James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star's very own, out on his balcony, enjoying the weather, the cool weather. How you doing, James?
What's going on, man? Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas. Jeff, freaking good to be back. It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute, yeah. Just, I got to clear something with you, though. Are you training like Piccolo? The word on the street is you wear weighted clothes. Is that true?
Slightly weighted, yeah. There's this new insanely viral brand, Comfort, COMFRT.
Yeah.
They make weighted hoodies and sweats and stuff like that, and it's for stress, anxiety, stuff like that. It is insanely comfortable.
Sounds like
it's. I will tell you this much, and this is completely sponsored. I love this brand. This is one of the most comfortable things that I own. I'm happy to wake up and be able to put this on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, like, not only are you lifting weights, you're actually lifting more weight. You're bringing more struggle to your physical form there. You're pretty much trained in the chamber, don't you? The hyperbolic chamber. Is that where you are at?
Yeah, pretty much. One of my favorite DB characters is, 11-year-old teen Gohan, like when he was, battling Cell. Like, that's my favorite version of any character was Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who wore weighted clothes like Piccolo.
Weighted clothes, yep, he sure did. He is, again, James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at I am Pledger. And yes, Pledger, to go back to what you said earlier, it's been a while since you've been back. I am glad you are back, here to talk some silver and black. He's going to brag about his show, Extra Innings, in just a few minutes, as well as the other program you can get over at San Antonio Sports Star. But we're here to talk about the silver and black. Let's get to it. So you heard in the intro, James, the Spurs, Popovich released a statement. Pop's doing good. He thanked everybody for the well wishes. But kind of thrown in there was a little liner that said, can't wait to get back to the sidelines, the bench. Look, I doubt Papa's going to go out like that. You know, he's just that competitive, that stubborn. He ain't going to let that way to go out. But there's speculation of when he does call it a day. Who knows? Maybe this does knock him out. Maybe this puts him out. He's going to just coach whatever it is, and then peace out. I'm out of here. Should the Spurs just end the speculation? Should they just tell Mitch, everybody, look, this might be Pop's last ride here. You know, Mitch, it's his. Let's just play this out. Or should they still go search for somebody to fill in for Popovich, even though Mitch might be the guy?
Mitch might be the guy. I mean, they've lost a lot of might be the guys while Pop has been here.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of them go on to do other things, whether it be Quinn Snyder or Mike Malone or, name said coach in different area of the country, James Borrego.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of could be the guys leave town. And to be honest, do you miss any of them? Have any of them really gone on to do that much in the NBA? So, apart from their circumstances, Coach Bud got one because he had Giannis playing at a two-time MVP level, and the Suns collapsed in the finals, right? Like, that's why Bud has a championship. Mike Malone has one because Joker happens to be the best big man in the league for the last 5 years running, and probably should have every MVP trophy from then to now. He's just been that ridiculous of a player, and they caught lightning in a bottle one year with Jamal Murray being healthy for the full playoff run, right? Quinn Snyder, I mean, he was all right in Utah.
Yeah.
He's doing okay in
Atlanta.
Look, players make coaches. They always have. They always will. Coach Pop's been very adamant about his greatness being linked to that of Tim Tony Amano, right? So, yes, great coaches need great players. That's part of it. At the same time, Wemby feels innately tied to wanting to play for Pop. So if Pop wants to coach and Wemby wants to be coached by Pop, why would you deny him that?
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Unless his health is really
health. Yeah, if his health then that's a completely separate conversation that he shouldn't even be trying to talk about getting back.
Yeah.
But we've heard mild, he wants to return. This is kind of his motivation to get through his rehab, it sounds a lot like, right?
Yep.
So why not at that point? Well, and at the same time, what has Mitch Johnson done with this team? Yeah, they're playing pretty good. Do you have any doubts Pop wouldn't have them playing this well? Do you have any doubts that with the amount of talent that's on this team that Pop wouldn't have gotten maybe more out of them than what Mitch has got possibly?
Right. Yeah. And also, too, you got to throw this in as well, is talk about the brain drain in San Antonio. It would just suck if this offseason, fill in the blank NBA team says we hired a new guy. His name is Mitch Johnson. Like, geez, there goes another one. That's what I'm.
You know what you can do to supplement that?
What's that?
And this is probably what should be done, and it may already be done, and we just don't know about it because that's how the San Antonio Spurs work. You remember in college football, there used to be this big run of head coach and wait, right?
Yeah.
There was a legacy head coach like a Matt Brown or Nick Saban, and there was always this hot offensive coordinator that's getting job offers from everywhere is the head coach in waiting to take over for said legend when he steps aside, right? How do we know that that's not already the case with Mitch Johnson, especially in light of things that we've seen from him?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because could be a sign that is happening as we speak. We are talking with James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at @IamPledger. Make sure you do that right now. When we get back, we're going to continue our chat about the head coaching position. Should the Spurs just already say, hey, Mitch is our guy once Pop officially retires. And then we're going to get into some discussion about Steph Castle and the Rookie of the Year award. Hey, let's talk about Prize Picks first.
Hey, let's talk about Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Right now, you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get on the action in sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks invented the flex pay, which means you'll still cash out. If your lineup isn't perfect, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Hey, look, Prize Picks is fun. It's simple. You'll enjoy having the experience of playing the game. I know I do. You will too. And yeah, download that Prize Picks app right now. Go use code LOCKEDONNBA and get yourself $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNBA on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
Today's episode is brought to you by Rocket RX. If you're ready to boost your confidence and take control in the bedroom, Rocket RX has the solution. Imagine feeling more prepared and performing at your best. Rocket RX makes it simple and stress-free. Rocket RX offers FDA-approved treatments for erectile dysfunction at a lower cost than branded alternatives. No more uncomfortable doctor visits or pharmacy trips. Everything delivers straight to your door in a discreet, plain packaging. With Rocket RX, you'll get trusted care from a real U.S. clinical team, complete with a 100% online consultation. It's quick, and you can get your free prescription today. Visit Rocket RX to get started now. It only takes 2 minutes. Right now, our listeners can get 40% off your first order when you use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's rocketrx.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA for 40% off your first order. Terms and conditions apply. Rocket RX, better sex made simple. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star's very own. Follow him on X at I Am Pledger. And we're talking about Mitch Johnson, the head coaching spot, Popovich, and a bit Steph Castle. But perhaps the biggest sign, James, that you were talking about in the last segment, that the coaching waiting thing, is the fact that they did not give it to Brett Brown. I thought Brett Brown would have gotten the interim head coach. You want to talk about experience? He's got it. Coaching a generational big, he's done that already in Philadelphia. Taking teams to the playoffs, he did that in Philadelphia. Maybe didn't win it, but he took them to the playoffs. He comes from a winning program, at least at that moment in time when he was in Philadelphia. They did not give it to him. They gave it to Mitch, which makes me believe Mitch is the guy. They just don't know when Pop is going to officially retire. It could be as soon as the end of this season. But James, do you think Pop would want to come back and maybe kind of, I want to say disrupt the chemistry, because that's a Hall of Fame coach coming back. But there is something to be said about that. Yes, he wants to come back. But there is something to say about that. That, hey, they're playing pretty good right now. Do I come back? In what capacity? Head coach? He ain't coming back as an assistant coach, that's for sure. He ain't going to do that. So,
you can be the head coach without disrupting things, right? I mean, you could still have Mitch as your second chair. You could, run things and bounce it. And this is what they're doing anyway. This is why coaching matters. This is why Pop's tree is so great, is because these guys, especially Pop, like a lot of coaches, like autonomy in their coaching search, right? They want everybody, they want yes men, they want people to agree with them. My way's the right way. That's never been Pop's style. Pop likes kickback. Pop likes discussion. Pop likes debate. That's how you get the best version of ideas formulated, is when things aren't linear, when things have to be talked about and discussed and argued, and you have to have kind of actual real discussions about certain, whether it's a formation, sets, how you should defend somebody, whatever it may be during the course of a game. Like, the only thing that may change is potentially like the timeout structures, maybe the substitution patterns. But even then, he's sitting there next to Mitch on the bench. These are discussions that the two of them can have real time outside of potentially like timeouts. Timeouts are more kind of fluid. And even then, Mitch can lean over into Pop and go like, hey, they're starting to spiral. We should probably, instead of letting them push, they do good from my time with the team. They do good when I call it earlier rather than later and letting things spiral on them. Like these are all things that can happen in cohesion with one another between not just those two coaches, but all the coaches on the staff once Pop returns. The problem that we think is the head coach is this unilateral dictator in which everything runs through him, and that's simply not the case, and it's never been with the San Antonio Spurs.
No, for sure.
God, what's the one that's escaping me? The one from Europe.
Oh, Ettore Messina.
Ettore Messina. He had such a huge influence on Pop and decisions with how this team was run to the point where, you did not miss a step when Pop was missing a game due to an illness or missing a game due to a personal matter or missing a game because he got tossed in the first 13 seconds.
Ettore took over when Pop's wife passed away. Remember that? He in that playoff stretch.
Yep.
So there's that, and overall though, James, I think Mitch is doing a good job. Does he have his rookie coach mistakes? He has, but that's part of the business. You got to learn, and he's learning right now. James,
and also, as great as he's doing, his team's 500.
Yep.
I mean, that's how bad it's been. Is we're ready to kick the Hall of Fame coach out because of 500. When, to be fair, with this accumulation of talent, and let's face it, Mitch took over as Sohan came back, as Vassell came back. Like he's gotten to benefit from where Pop started the season, missing Trey Jones, Jeremy Sohan, Wemby missed time, Devin Vassell. I mean, he was down his top 4 players for a good chunk of the first part of the season.
Yeah.
And so we're basing our perception of a 500 team coached by Mitch Johnson on a fully healthy team that we never really got to see actualized.
Yeah. And look, the bar is set low. 22 win season, you can't go anywhere else but up. So technically, but just by comparison, this year is so far a success. But the bar is set very, very low. And it wouldn't have taken Pop or Mitch much to get them above the bar, and so far so good. To me, the biggest sign of maturity.
The one thing that Mitch has done that I'm not sure that Pop would have done is Steph Castle started.
Yeah,
I think his hand would have been forced into it because of injuries potentially, but I'm not sure because of Pop's way with rookies that it would have gotten to where we're at right now with Steph Castle, sans the boatload of injuries we faced, right?
Yeah, and also too, another thing I know Pop would not have done is maybe just unleash Sohan the moment he was ready to go. He probably would have put him on a minutes restriction at first, ease him back.
But that's just an organizational thing. I'm not sure that's even a Pop thing.
And also too, you look at the situation, the head coaching spot. They are in a rebuild. They're not out of it yet. Mm-hmm. And that was going to be the biggest piece of the rebuild is the coaching spot. And because Pop sure ain't going to be playing out Wemby's entire career. That was not going to happen.
No.
So you're going to have that transition eventually. And Wemby was going to have to go through it as well. So they're kind of doing it on the fly right now. They're kind of getting that part of the rebuild going. And
let's face it, the biggest part of the rebuild, sans getting Victor Wembanyama in the draft, will be this year. And I don't relish in being the I told you so guy.
Yeah.
How's that Atlanta pick looking? Yeah, not try and warn everybody that this was a good Atlanta team.
You did.
That pick could be very worthless by the time we get to April.
You did, yeah. You certainly did, and
in a weak Eastern Conference with a great player like Trae Young, and to be honest, I think DeJounte Murray was the problem in Atlanta. Like
he was.
He can't play with a Trae Young. They're both too ball dominant. Having a Dyson Daniels to play off of Trae and be defensive minded is a better fit next to him than was a DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I like Mitch. You know, he's very calm. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He seems to be even keel. The guys are responding well to him.
Let's face it, he's cool. We like him because he's cool.
Cool. He's just very cool, and I like that about him. But here's the thing, though. Do you think this could be it for Pop? Let's just say he comes back tonight or the other night versus Atlanta, or this weekend, whatever. Do you think this is it for him? Do you think this is it? I don't see him coming back ASAP. Maybe All-Star breakish. I can see him coming around that time, right before or right after.
Rodeo road trip, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I could see him coming back sometime next year. Maybe it's early January. Maybe it's closer to the trade deadline. Maybe it's All-Star break. Yeah. Maybe it's rodeo road trip. You know, yeah, I could see that. I could also just see him focusing on his rehab and coming back next season. Yeah. I could also see that as a potential return target for Greg Popovich, just to make sure his health is in order, because first and foremost, that has to be priority number one for him, right? You don't want to rush yourself back into an extremely intense and high stress situation like professional sports is without making sure that you are 100% recovered and ready for something like that, because stress is a main trigger for stroke. So you have to make sure that. No, I was just saying you have to make sure that, you know, that is not something, and we talk about this with this team a lot, and it's said a lot in Spurs parlance, but in this case specifically, you can't skip steps.
No, and Pop ain't going to skip steps with his health and his return to the court. He is James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at @IamPledger. We're not done with him yet. Coming up next, we're going to be discussing the Roy, the Rookie of the Year. Steph Castle, is it his to lose? We'll find out right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, I want to talk to you about FanDuel.
Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need and the place where to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So you get a hunch in the middle of a game. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bet. Just visit FanDuel.com right now to join today. By the way, the app is very easy to use, user-friendly. It's very intuitive and not hard to navigate whatsoever. Sign up is easy. Hey, look, NFL action, as mentioned, is underway. NBA action is underway. Your Spurs are underway right now. What more do you need? Go to FanDuel.com right now to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. Again, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. All that takes is just for you to go and sign up right now. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
This is Homer Simpson, and you are listening to my favorite Spurs podcast, Locked On Spurs. Donuts.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. Follow my next at @IamPledger. Now let's talk about the Roy. Yes, the Rookie of the Year. So, James, you go to any type of prediction model website, whether it be Vegas odds or literally prediction modeled AI weird stuff, technology things, they have Steph Castle now, as of this recording, the hands down favorite to win the Roy. Not even close. Some models have Dalton Connect, but even then, it's a big gap. I think Castle at Polymarket was at 32%, and then Dalton Connect, the second closest, was at 14%.
But it is because of injury. Let's
yeah,
let's not act like injury is not a factor.
No.
Why he's
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up. I would say, look, McCain out of Philadelphia, he took a big hit. He's out indefinitely, but it's his. Do you think it's his to lose at this point?
Yeah.
I think it's just his to lose. Just minus if McCain doesn't come back. Castle's got
much like Trae Young, I was extremely high on Steph Castle in the draft process. He was my favorite prospect, and he works so. And this is where I thought that he would be great. Like, his offense is coming along a lot faster than I expected, but he's also not being asked to be the primary point guard on this team either right away. So I think that's really helped in his evolution, of course, not having that much of that responsibility on his shoulders all at once, to where, score when you have the opportunity and play elite level defense. And he is really good at capitalizing on both of these situations. And, him and Wemby together, and I know there's like some pushback. I love the moniker Area 51.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that is just awesome.
I think it's phenomenal. And I love that they both also have leaned into it, because there have been games that Castle has won strictly because of his defense. You talk about the block at the rim on OKC. He has been incredible, and I expect to see him on a rookie first team all defensive team as well. To be honest, the way he's playing, I might expect to see him on an all NBA defensive team, maybe third team or honorable mention, right? He has been that good defensively, and I'm not shocked by it, but at the same time, it's incredible considering some of the players he's had to defend, whether you're talking about Shai Gilgeous or De'Aaron Fox or Luka Doncic. Like, he has drawn some pretty intense assignments because of how heavily stacked it is. And he is full force been a defensive disruptor along with Wemby and the rest of this team. I think that's been incredible to this point, but I think the biggest surprise has been on the offensive end from him, and how quickly he's been able to contribute on that facet.
Yeah, he's getting to the rim. He's definitely getting the rookie treatment from refs. There's a lot of questionable calls. I think he should have gone his way, but he's meshing well with the team. He's meshing well with Wemby. He's meshing well with
CP3.
With CP3. I think whatever he's learning from CP3 will carry with him throughout his entire career. He just talked to SJA about that. And he's putting up, the numbers don't lie. I mean, double figures overall this season. He's facilitating, and he's getting to the free throw line. I think last check, he leads all rookies in free throw attempts. So he's definitely attacking that rim, as we all can see. But it's his. I think at this point, because of the McCain injury, it's his to lose. I can connect unless he goes ballistic from this point forward. I can't think. Ricochet.
Even if he does, these guys are going to have to go ballistic in a way to where they're averaging like 30 points a game. Because Steph is, what's his averages at right now? 16, 17?
Yeah, about 16, 17 points per game. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, he's got those 26 and 30-point nights to where, he's had the career highs and stuff like that. So he is doing it. But the problem is, and where it's going to be hard to overtake him, is he's doing it on both ends, where other players are strictly on the offensive end and how they're performing.
Yeah. Spurs were right to be scouting him since high school. It looks like they did their homework, and it's paying off. But we think the Roy is going to go to back-to-back Rookie of the Year winners. That'd be awesome for the Spurs to have that. Wemby last year, maybe Castle this year. All signs are pointing to yes, that's going to happen. He is James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. James, we need to know what's going on at the Star, from your show, Extra Innings, to the rest of the programming.
This is a bad week to ask that. As you can tell, I am on my back deck, so I have been on vacation this week.
Oh, look at you! Well, when you get back,
I've got a lot of time to burn. So, like, I took a week off before Christmas, just kind of make sure I'm not losing all of my use your losing anniversary.
Yeah, I hear you.
But, yeah, I mean, starts early in the morning. Rob and AJ Hoffman on the morning huddle from 6 to 10. Then you've got, of course, the Blitz with Jason and Joe, produced by yours truly, as we take you from 2 to 6. And then, of course, 6 to 7, that's all extra innings, baby. Pleasure, as we get you all set up and recap kind of everything that's gone on through the day and, break down some of the breaking news that happened later in the day.
That's it. That's right. Going to follow James on X at IamPleasure. Make sure to do it right now. And, of course, listen to the Star 94.1 in San Antonio. And online, I believe, too.
I am shocked, man. What's all up? Of this time, you didn't mention one thing about the big reveal yesterday morning.
Okay, this twofold. One, I know we're going to get on a tangent. And two, as of this recording, I have a work meeting in about 7 minutes. That's the reason why. We can get into that. But very quickly, I'm iffy on crypto. I don't know if you want to introduce that character. Okay.
Excited.
Okay. He's going. The actor is going to get some used to. From going from Cavill to the new one. That's going to get some used to for me. Looks good. And it looks like James Gunn is going for the real traditional look of that 70s, 60s vibe, meets new.
David Cornsweet fought for the trunks on it.
Well, are they trunks? Look like shorts. They're not like swimming trunks. Look like
but he fought for that look because Superman is beloved by children.
Yeah.
And that there's this powerful alien that is uncontrollable flying around, no matter his intentions, a darker aesthetic or something like that would be harder to portray as, friendly, helpful, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The red trunks, he said, make him look like a professional wrestler in the eyes of children, which allows him to be beloved the way Superman is beloved, which makes a lot of sense.
I'm interested in seeing how they're going to portray Mr. Terrific. I want to see that. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, I think you told me the other day, the JLA is around already at this point. It is existing.
Yeah, this is not an origin story. This is fully functioning Superman JLA, in his time. Yeah. Lex Luthor already hates him. Lois already knows who he is. They're not rebooting or doing an origin. We know what his origin is. Everybody knows Superman's origin. They're just diving headfirst into the mythos. And there's other characters around. There is a Batman around. There's his son Damian Wayne.
Well, they even showed
these are all upcoming projects for James Gunn and the DCU. So he wanted to not have to do a whole bunch of different origin stories for people that we already know.
Yeah, I mean, because what you're going to get with Superman. I guess Hawkgirl, she's in it, so we know we're going to get from her. But just these new characters, the Mr. Terrifics. I think they showed Metamorpho, real briefly.
Guy Gardner.
Yeah, Cy Gardner. Yep. How that take, because we got the Ryan Reynolds.
We always get a Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
Yeah, we always get
but that's a lot of people. They only know the Hal Jordan Green Lantern because of the comics, because of the DCAU or whatever it may be. But there's John Stewart, there's Guy Gardner, there's Kyle Rayner. There's an entire core of lanterns outside of just Hal Jordan.
And I hope we get Jerk Off Lantern. Because I think that's what Guy was, right? He was just a big jerk.
Sure.
Yeah, so I hope we get that. That'll be refreshing. Just a new attitude, we're definitely getting a new GL, so he's there. I thought we were going to get Jon Stewart, though. Didn't they announce already the actor is going to play Jon Stewart?
No, we're going to get that guy. They're doing a separate story that I believe is just all the lanterns. It is the Lantern Corps, and John Williams, Green Lantern, is going to be a part of that.
Okay, all right, yeah, because that's the one thing that threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, I thought they announced John Stewart, but it's
John Stewart's a part of that, but it's going to be I believe a series.
Okay,
on Max.
On Max, yeah. All right, well, we'll see. But yeah, no, I did like the trailer. I wasn't bashing on it, Pledger. Not at all. I just had
you got Barry Jimenez with it.
I just had questions. Because I was looking at the trailer and it hit me. It's like, wait a minute. All his bros are there and his buddies are there from the Hawk Girl and everybody. Like, the JLA around? Like, what the hell? And then the first scene you see is a busted up, bloody. By the way, James Gunn. I know you don't listen to Locked On Spurs, but if you do, please tell me that was an homage to the Yamcha death. That was close.
Very much so. It was very much a Yamcha pose.
That was the Yamcha crater death pose that you gave Superman. If that's it, my hat's off to you, because that is awesome that you gave that homage to it. Because think about it. It's that and the Akira the motorcycle slide. Like a lot of movies kind of pay homage to anime in that form. Especially the Akira motorcycle slide. That's the big one.
Oh, it's in everything.
Yeah, it's in everything. So, but if he's starting to crank up the Yamcha crater death scene, cool. that'd be excellent. He is James Pledger again. Follow him on X at I am Pledger. We'll be back next week talking all things silver and black as the Spurs season continues. And subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Kids, 5+ app. You know where to go. Follow us right now. So for James Pledger, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.